ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the NFL guy that covers the entire league for ESPN, talking about this year's Browns team on Get Up this morning.
What's keeping you awake if you're the Cleveland Browns?
Whether the Browns can maximize the skill set of Deshaun Watson. He showed a lot of rust last year talking to teams around the league. They weren't overly impressed with his play over 6 games, small sample size, but now he's had a full offseason. Browns have been really pleased with where he's at. They believe Watson and Kevin Stefanski will adapt to each other's skill set and bring out the best in each other, but they have to prove that.
With that, let's welcome in Quincy Carrier from Untitled, Unfiltered Browns coverage. Quincy, I think that's an important distinction. I don't question whether Deshaun Watson's skills will return. The bigger question is, will Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson figure out a way to get the most out of Deshaun Watson and tailor this offense around him?
Well, in situations like this, you have to ask yourself, who does it benefit for these two to get it right? And it benefits both of them tremendously for them to kind of work together and compromise, right? So I would lean towards the direction of, yeah, it's going to get done because it benefits Deshaun Watson to listen to what Kevin Stefanski has to say and get that input there, given that he's kind of expressed that in the past. The lack of offensive minds has really influenced him in his NFL career. He wants somebody who is more of a well-thought-of mind to kind of influence what his future is going to look like. But also, if you're Kevin Stefanski, you know from experience what inconsistent quarterback play can do to a season. So you want to make sure that you're putting Deshaun in the best possible position to be successful and to put Deshaun in situations that are familiar while also adding some things. So I think it benefits both parties to get together and work together. The complaints that I've heard about Kevin Stefanski usually are things that we kind of like infer, like play calling or stuff like that. It's not necessarily like, oh, he has a big ego and he's not willing to let this or that. That's not anything that I've heard from anybody who's worked with Kevin Stefanski. So I think they'll be able to kind of collaborate, put their minds together, and create an offense that works for both of them. And I don't think that will be that difficult, given that I think Deshaun wants to move towards some of the stuff that Kevin's doing. I think Kevin wants to move towards some of the stuff that Deshaun's doing. They'll just meet in the middle naturally.
Yeah, and again, I agree with you. I just think it's an important distinction. I don't think there's a question about Deshaun Watson's talents being there. They're going to come back. The question is, do you put him in a situation where you can maximize his talents? And I agree with you. I think they will.